Something's in the room with us.
Jesus! Open fire! Open fire! Sender! Power! Sender!
Come on. Come on. Got it!
Isaac! Get out of there!
The door's unlocked! Run!
What the? YouTube is not gonna like this video. But I also want to talk about how great Dead Space is and how much I hope and pray on my knees that the remake isn't trash. So here's the plan. 1. Have a considerably less gruesome death on screen every time someone gets turned into cold cuts. 2. Have it run in garbage 720p, not only to trick the bots that run this site that it isn't as bad as it looks, but also to appreciate how good the new Dead Space looks in comparison. Like, are you seeing this? This looks clean! Which is why we should stop making cross-platform releases already. Seriously, we're 2 years into this generation. If people really wanted a PS5 by now, they could have gotten one. Anyway, this is a good horror game because if something's chasing you, all you gotta do is shoot it. The hardest part of explaining why anything horror is cool is trying to describe the feeling accurately without spoiling what's so terrifying about it. Also without sounding generic as hell. For example, the atmosphere is dark, creepy, and claustrophobic. I'm talking about Luigi's Mansion. To be fair though, it kinda has to be that way. It's when you add the limited visibility, tight areas, and general spooky vibe when the horror games really come to life. Unfortunately, that does tend to make a lot of these games feel pretty similar, unless you're an indie horror game. Then you have to shove in about 5 different layers of lore to make sure this man doesn't spend time with his kid. Personally, I feel like this game got a lot of inspiration from Resident Evil. You move like an old wilted piece of cabbage, and your inventory is a complete goddamn joke. I'm pretty sure Isaac would have better luck if he was wearing a regular ass backpack. I don't care how stupid he'd look. At this point, I'd take a fanny pack. Granted, that does give it the added benefit that it makes it scarier when you realize you don't have the speed to run, the space to hide, or the ammo to waste. So, either you get good and make this shot, or you're gonna end up looking like the toys from Sid's room. Choice is yours. But while this game does make the most of what it takes from other horror games, let's talk about how well the unique aspects of it work. The idea of horrors from space is nothing new. In fact, it's old as hell. Basically, as long as we've had a thing in space, people have been in awe and subsequently horrified of the unknown, as well as extremely devoted and equally turned on by the unknown, but those don't really matter here. What does matter is very rarely was cosmic horror explored in video games. Usually it was creepy buildings, or creepy towns, or out in the woods, or that's about it actually. Usually leading to the immediate question, why am I in a creepy building or out in the woods? I'm leaving! With space though,
Entering vacuum. Entering zero gravity.
yeah, you aren't going anywhere. That's why space is one of the best horror settings, but at the same time, it's one of the best game settings. You got moments where you have to hurry up or you'll run out of air without the terrible water controls. Or sometimes you could just move around in zero gravity and mess around with sci-fi stuff. Mostly because you can't be in space without sci-fi stuff. Sad fact of life. And most importantly, since it's space and the main enemies you'll deal with are aliens, you can basically do whatever you want with that. In this case, stab happy freaks that you have to carefully, yet efficiently, turn into the Holy Grail Black Knight. Game is real specific about going for the limbs too. I've had headless xenomorphs bisect me. It was actually pretty funny. Honestly, most of the stuff in this game, both the annoying and not annoying stuff, do end up working in favor of the game. Except everyone being a dumbass in this story. Now let me be clear about this. The main stuff with Nicole and how they're trying to get off the ship, totally fine with that, makes perfect sense. What really bothers me is about how 90% of stories about killer anything requires everyone to be stupid. I'm not gonna spoil it cause remake, but literally everything involving the markers and how they're handled is the dumbest thing ever. I know that's the point, but you literally could have had a rock crash into the ship and infect everyone, nothing would have changed. Do you remember a game called Outlast where you're asked to go to an insane asylum in the middle of nowhere and it looks like this and the only thing you take with you is a camera? This is dumber than that.